Hey, what's up YouTube, Rahul here back with an interesting video. In this video, we'll be upgrading this particular laptop. This is the HP Notebook Series 15, which has the i3 4th Gen CPU in it. This is almost 6 to 7 years old laptop, and trust me, I still edit all my videos in this laptop itself. So today we'll be boosting its performance like anything. So the main things that I wanted to use, because this video should have come live 2 or 3 days ago, what happened was this. So let me explain you some of the things that you need to keep in mind while upgrading these kind of machines. So what happens is, number one, you'll be visiting a lot of websites, right? In there, they'll be suggesting you to use the caddy and removing the CD drive because in 2020, nobody will be using the CD drive, right? So that's not gonna work that way, because I've tried like almost for 2 days and I ended up buying a cable like this. This is the SATA cable. This is the SATA to USB 3.0. Since my laptop has a 3.0 port, I can use this directly. In case your laptop doesn't have the 3.0 port, you can have another adapter here. This is the 2.0 port, but you need to have the power supply with that, and you need to connect the power adapter in this port here. So the point was to increase the RAM first of all, that is from 4GB to 8GB RAM, and then to change the HDD to SSD. That was completely successful. But why I rejected the RAM was, in RAM you'll be getting different sticks with different speeds. This particular system will support 1600 megahertz speed, but what I bought was 1333 megahertz RAM stick. What I thought was the difference between 1333 megahertz and the 1600 megahertz is practically negligible. It's just 2 or 3%. But what happens when you install that 1333 megahertz RAM is that the CPU will underclock the 1600 RAM that's already in the laptop to 133 again. That's kind of a sad thing, because in rendering 2 and 3% will actually matter. So I decided to send that back and order another 1600 megahertz RAM. Now the second part was to change the SSD. What the initial plan was to actually remove the HDD from the laptop part and then install the Kingston SSD, that is 240 GBs. But that wasn't just possible, because what I did was install the SSD here, and to the caddy I attached this old HDD. What I had to do is clone the Windows software in this one to the SSD. That was kind of successful. I used a software called Macrium, but later what happened was I got an error. The beginning error I don't remember, but later I got something called as boot MGR. So it's a headache to solve those problems. So what I decided was to use this kind of cable and attach it as an external drive. You'll also get the hard drive enclosures if you buy online. You have the Orico SATA to 3.0 cable with the enclosure. Since I urgently needed it, I bought it offline here itself. So I didn't get the enclosure, I got only the cable. So the verdict is that please don't use the caddy disk to attach the HDD, or even if you attach the SSD in the caddy disk, because what happens is, number one is that caddy always doesn't work properly. It may come off very easily even if you put that screw. Number two is that if you put the SSD in caddy's place, then your speed will be very low. The difference between the HDD and the SSD is like 10 times. The SSD is 10 times faster, but you know, when you put that SSD to the caddy disk, it won't be that fast at all. You'll hardly be noticing 20 to 30% of the performance jump, the read or write speeds. So that was just an introduction so that you people will not make any mistake while upgrading or restoring this kind of laptop. So enough of talk, let's get started. Now before actually beginning the video, here's a small test from the NOAA benchmark. Here we see the disk score is 25, the write speed is 85 Mbps and the read speed is 94 Mbps. And by the end of this video, we'll see another benchmark score from the same NOAA benchmark application itself when we install the SSD. So starting off with the process, first you need to just shut down your laptop and remove the CD disk and the battery as well. Now just start removing all the 12 screws in the laptop. Now one thing you need to remember before removing the panel is that to make sure that you have removed the screws underneath those rubber grips, or else you'll end up breaking the hinge like me. So just remove the upper panel and clean it, keep it aside. Here I have shown the footage of installing the RAM, but actually I removed it later because, as I explained, the megahertz will be underclocked. So let's remove the HDD from the case. You'll be getting those metal frames on both the sides. So first you need to remove the screws of that and take out the metal frame and insert those frames to the SSD before putting it there. And always make sure you connect the SATA cable first and then tighten the screws. Don't do the other way, you'll end up making the mistake. And once that's done, we'll skip this step of installing the caddy because we'll be using another cable, which I showed in the earlier part of this video. Once you have installed everything, just take out your hairdryer, clean the surface of the laptop and also the panel, wipe it off with a cloth, dry cloth, and start putting the screws all over it. We'll see the benchmark scores of the SSD. As you can see on the screen, we have the write speed of 279 Mbps and the read speed of 375 Mbps. That's like more than 4 times jump in the performance, but this is just the benchmark scores. In real world, you'll be getting a lot better than this thing. It will become so fluid and apps will just open in a snap. So that was pretty much everything about this video. I really hope you guys liked it. If yes, please hit that subscribe button. It will mean a lot to me. With that being said, my name is Rahul and I am signing out. Thanks a lot for sticking till the end, and it was really a lot of fun making this video. And also thanks a lot to my friend Tanish for helping me making this video. And also subscribe to his channel Technetic Gamosity. The link to the channel is given in the description down below. So please do check it, and thanks a lot for watching till the end once again.